As you first start authoring HTML, you're probably going to notice what seems to be a really curious behavior among browsers regarding your use of whitespace. You see, no matter how much whitespace you put in your content, your browser is going to, for the most part, ignore everything after that first space of character. So I've got the whitespace.htm from 0307 opened up in my browser, and you can see I have the sentence that says, by default, browsers will ignore any whitespace after the first space. To add additional whitespace, you must use the non-breaking space entity. So you can see I've got the HTML character entity there for that. So to kind of experiment around with that a little bit, I've got the same file opened up in my code editor, and I am going to do just what I suggest. I'm going to try it right here. Inside this paragraph, between these two sentences, I'm going to add a lot of white space. All right, so you can see there's a lot of white space between the first sentence and the second sentence, even though they're in the same paragraph. So if I save this, go back into the browser, nothing happens. So within your code, any amount of white space after that first character of white space is ignored. And that's basically because a lot of code is written by people that know what they're doing. Some code is written by people that don't know what they're doing. And some code is written by machines. And when machines are formatting code, sometimes they'll just put empty space all over the place without really meaning to. And so to guard against that, HTML basically says you get one character of white space, that's it. So if you want to add additional white space, we use a character known as a non-breaking space. So again, if I was going back into that paragraph, I can use the character entity, ampersand, NBSP, and semicolon. And just to kind of show you what this does, I copy this, and I'm just going to paste it a few times, maybe 4 times. So we have the initial white space, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 non-breaking spaces. So if I save that, go back over to the browser, now you can see that we're getting a little additional white space. Now that works, and I know a lot of people that rely on this for visual formatting. I want to caution you against that. That is not what the non-breaking space is for. So in this day and age, we have cascading style sheets that control all of our visual formatting. So if I need a little extra indentation, if I need some space between certain characters or entities, CSS gives me the capabilities of doing that. What the non-breaking space is for is just that, to create a non-breaking space. I get rid of all that stuff. And if I go back to the browser, I can see that I have the text Formula 1 right there. If I resize the browser, notice that the word 1 breaks as I resize it. That's as you would imagine. But if I go in my code and I scroll down, and between Formula 1, I replace the default white space with a non-breaking space character. Now, if I save that and go back into my text, if I resize the browser, notice that Formula and 1 won't break separately anymore. It breaks as one individual character. So that's really what a non-breaking space is for. It's okay to occasionally use it to kick in maybe a little bit of extra white space. So be very careful about how you use it, and that you don't use it to create false margins, indents, or tabs. That type of visual formatting is the responsibility of CSS, not HTML.